is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Weapon Collective. Today we're doing another requested video, and that's going to be taking a look at all the guns on the gun wall behind me. And I'm always standing in front of them, but there are plenty more that you probably normally don't see. We're going to go through all those. That was a request from a viewer, and happy to oblige. But before we get into that, I did want to take a moment to address a mistake that I made. I'm always trying to be as accurate as possible, but in my Glock video, I did mention that the Glock 17 was the first polymer striker-fired pistol. There is a gun called the VP70 which has that honor, and for some reason I remembered that as a hammer-fired pistol. I am sorely mistaken. That is a striker fired gun as well. So the Glock 17 was the first widely adopted, very popular polymer striker fired pistol. So correction made, and I appreciate the viewers for catching me on that. And I ask you to continue to do so in the future if I make any mistakes. Other than that, let's get into the gun wall. Of course, none of these are gonna have suppressors. I don't leave them just hanging on the wall with suppressors, but first one. This is a cool gun. This is Type A. I love Type A. And this is a rifle. So this is a pinned and welded muzzle device, bringing this thing to 16 inches of overall barrel length. It's hard to say if it's a 13.7, 13.9. It's 13 something, pinned and welded. You can see the weld right there. Let's go through this gun. Up front, we got that Dead Air Chemo flash hider that is pinned and welded. And then behind that, we have a Unity Axon button, and that is operating this Modlite PLH V2 18350. And that is on an Arisaka Picatinny scout mount. And if you noticed, this Axon button might be a little difficult to use with whatever this is right here. Like, that's not a lot of space. But the good news is this moves, so it's not always in the way. And need to use my light, I can back that up. But what is this thing? So this is the Antimatter Industries scope switch. Antimatter Industries, local Utah company, so shout out to Antimatter. If you don't know about the scope switch, this is a way that you can adjust your magnification very quickly. See those scope turning? Super cool. So you can dial down and up that magnification with a little movement of this slider. And that is one of the coolest things for an LPVO. It takes a little bit of time to set up, but it's not all that difficult. Just a little bit time consuming, and they have great instructional video on their website that walks you through it. And that scope switch is hooked up to a Vortex Razor Gen 3 1-10. I really dig these LPVOs. I like them a lot. And then I am running an Arisaka offset 45-degree mount, which I have a Trijicon RMR-CC on that. Magpul bad lever. These are, I believe these are Type A's ambi safeties, and because they make a lot of stuff in-house over at Type A. This is Type A's charging handle. And then we have a B5 buttstock and a B5 pistol grip. And this is the 13.7 pin and welded to 16-inch Type A rifle. Oh, we got a Type A bolt carrier group in there. I should mention that the scope switch has its very own mount too. That's part of the switch. These are their scope rings. Next up, we have a cool gun. This thing's fun. It is the Palmetto State Armory Jackal. I assume most of you are familiar with the Jackal, and this is a fun little gun, and it ran really well. I haven't shot this a ton, but when I've had it out, it's been a blast, and it's run flawlessly. It does have the folding pistol brace on there, which is super cool. So SB Tactical SBA3 pistol brace. I have an Irregular Defense cheek riser on there. I'm running the Holosun 503R. This is kind of like Holosun's T2. entire just one monolithic pick rail, the whole top, and then a Surefire Scout Light with the SR07 pressure pad. This is a Yankee Hill Machine muzzle device, and this is a SLR Rifle Works hand stock that you can order from SLR Rifle Works that comes Cerakoted in this multicam black. And then I had a multicam black B5 pistol grip. Oh, and the SLR Rifle Works mount for that Holosun is also in that multicam black. This is a side charger. Very cool. It's just a really fun little different gun, kind of half AR, half AK type weapon that is a lot of fun to shoot. So if you haven't shot a Jackal, try to get your hands on one. Before we get into this one, I did just want to mention that most of these guns down here are builds that I did from scratch, stripped lowers, and then ones on the wall, kind of maybe 25% builds. And I bring that up just because a lot of these parts are like this guy. This one has a Silencer Co. lower, which you don't see these all that often. It's a cool little lower that Silencer Co. made. I don't believe they make them any longer. And then it has this Geissele Mark I SMR rail. They don't make these anymore. These are very cool because it has just a different rail attachment system, and it's just one of those rails that's like, I wish I got more of these. It's not all that convenient as far as mounting systems, just because you have to have special mounting options for it. Like this is an Arisaka for the SMR rail, and it has threads in these holes, and you can just screw it on, so it's super easy to mount stuff. This is a Silencer Co. lower. This is a BCM upper receiver. This is a, like I said, Geissele SMR rail. It's a 13.5-ish inch, has a Lantac gas block, and can't remember the barrel. It's probably a Ballistic Advantage. I'd have to get a flashlight out, but anyhow, this is a fun little gun, and let's go through it. So up front, we've got the Huxworks QD556 flash hider, a Surefire Scout weapon light on that Arisaka SMR mount, and then SR07 pressure pad, Scalar Works Peak fixed iron sights, and then an Aimpoint Acro P2 in a Scalar Works Leap mount at 193 inch optical height. We have a Radian Raptor charging handle, Battle Arms development safeties. This is a Lantac drop-in trigger, SB Tactical SBA3 pistol brace, and B5 pistol grip. So this is the Silencer Co. SCO 15. Okay, this next one is another build. I think this was fairly recent, and this one is done on the Radian AX556 lower. These are amazing lowers. Radian makes a fantastic product. I have been very happy with all the Radian products I've ever touched. This is the new Daniel Defense RIS 3 rail, which I really like. These, they're a little expensive, but they're super badass. And the only issue with these things is their system to bolt these guys on. There's 6 of these screws, and I'll tell you, you can do these little half quarter turns with an Allen wrench, and it is tedious. I will say that. I need a better tool for that job, but I've been very happy with the rail. This is an 11-inch barrel on this gun, and I've got the Huxworks QD556. That's kind of the direction I'm going with most my guns, because I'm a big proponent of those Huxworks flow-through cans. I dig them. That reduced back pressure is significant. And then I've got a BCM CAG hand stop, Aimpoint Comp M5 on the Scalar Works Leap at 193. This has a Daniel Defense charging handle, Radian Talon, ambi, safety selectors. This has a Geissele Super Dynamic Combat trigger. This is probably my favorite trigger if I'm doing a build and I'm not doing a drop-in trigger. And then Strike Industries Enhanced Castle Nut and Emplate, SB Tactical SBA3 pistol brace, B5 pistol grip, and I think that about sums it up. Oh, BCM bolt carrier group. Mainly, I'm just a big fan of the Radian lower, but that is this guy. This next one, I like this guy. This is cool. I like the green. So this is, I probably did the majority of all the builds I've ever done. I probably have more Aero lowers than anything else. The Aero M4E1, because it's a reasonably priced lower that has one specific detail on it. And that is that they are the first company that I was aware of that instead of using a roll pin on the bolt lock, they started using a set screw. And that made life so much easier. And you don't run the risk of marring up your lower. And it's just so much easier to throw in a set screw than it is a roll pin. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. This is an Aero M4 E1 lower. This is a Geissele upper receiver. Got an SLR buffer tube. And up front, this is from Huxworks. This is one of their blast deflectors. And they call this the Blasphemy. These things are pretty cool. So if you're familiar with like the Surefire Warden, same thing. All it does is deflect that blast forward so you're not getting any of that coming back, especially if you're laying in the prone position or close to the ground. You're not shooting dirt everywhere. That concussive thump isn't coming out. All those gases aren't expanding and hitting your friends next to you. Just shoots everything forward. This is a forward controls handguard, and you can see the bronze under there. That is a Zev barrel. I've got a Modlite PLH V2 18350 with a mod button. Emissary Development handbrake. Haley Strategic. This is their new one. I dig this, that QD. That looks really slick. I like that. This is significant. On the Modlite, this is their new rear tail cap, which is their gas cap, and it operates off of a USB-C. There's a little more work involved setting them up originally than say a Surefire UE tail cap, and they're supposed to just be a better connection, better output with those. Then moving back, I've got the Aimpoint T2 on the ScalarWorks Leap mount, and that's at 193. I've got the Radian SD charging handle. These are Fortis safety selectors in that gold with the Geissele Super Dynamic Combat trigger. This buffer tube is an SLR buffer tube. Just wanted to match that upper with the buffer tube green. SB Tactical SBA3 pistol brace, and the Die Free Company Kung Fu grip. And that is the Aero M4E1. Okay, this gun you've seen in a prior video if you've seen my Zev video. If not, go check it out, because this is the 16-inch Zev Core Elite rifle. And I love this thing. This thing is sweet. So it is a 16-inch barrel. I love that bronze barrel that they put in there. From the front, we have, this is a Surefire Close-Tine War Comp, Surefire Scout Light that I'm operating with the Cloud Defensive LCS for the Surefire ST07 tape switch. This is the Rail Scales Anchor. I dig Rail Scales. They do some really cool stuff. This has the Rail Scale on it. I can't remember the part name of these, but I think that's in Dragon Skin. I like those. And we've got the Emissary Development cable clip. This is a really cool little LPVO. It's a 1-to-4 loopholed. and it's called the Fire Dot, the AX Freedom Fire Dot, and it's just a great little low power optic. I dig this thing. It's in a Burris scope mount. I've got Trijicon RMR in Coyote on the 45, and that is on the Valhalla Tactical Ruck. Geissele Super charging handle, the mil-spec buffer tube in that color. This is a Magpul SLK buttstock with the Magpul grip, and this is a super cool gun. I like, as far as rifles go, 16-inch guns, I really like this thing a lot. That is the Zev Core Elite rifle. Next up, this is just Sons of Liberty, pinned and welded, so 13.7 inch, I believe. Sons of Liberty's own muzzle device. It's called the Nox, but it is chemo adaptable. And then just Magpul furniture, and got a Comp M5 on the Unity Fast Micro Riser, Midwest Industries irons, Sons of Liberty charging handle. That's the only thing I changed really, is I put a B5 buttstock on this, and besides putting the optic in the buttstock, I didn't do anything else to this. This is how it came. Sons of Liberty makes amazing guns. That is the M4 from Sons of Liberty. This one, another build. And this one is on a Type A lower in that green. And then this is a Type A upper receiver with the Type A handguard. And then I just got those parts from Type A and did a build with them. And so out front we have, this is a Surefire War Comp. It's a 3-tine Modlite PLH V2 18350 with the mod button. Haley Strategic QD for the pick rail, then a Aimpoint Micro T2 on the GBRS Lerna, Radian Raptor SL charging handle. I put a gold Fortis mag release button on there with, these are Lantac takedown pins, and this is the Fortis ratcheting castle nut on a mil-spec buffer tube with the SB Tactical SPA3 pistol brace. The Die Free Company Kung Fu grip. These are Badger Ordnance ambi safety selectors. A Geissele Super Dynamic combat trigger. Edgar Sherman hand stop. These are, I quite like these. Oh, and that's an 11-inch barrel. Okay, we've got another Arrow. So this is an Arrow M4 E1 build. And out of the tip, we have a Silencer Co. muzzle device and a SLR Rifle Works. This is their Ion handguard. Then we've got the Holosun 510C and Scalar Works Peak iron sights that are fixed. Super Dynamic combat trigger. Type A bolt carrier group. Radian Raptor charging handle. Just mil-spec buffer tube in a Cerakoted gray. These are Battle Arms Development ambi safety selectors, Magpul bad lever. This is an HRF magwell. These are nice. Just bolt-on magwell that makes it easier for reloads. SB Tactical SPA3 pistol brace, B5 pistol grip, and I believe that is it. I mentioned in other videos, there was a time that I just did a whole bunch of parts that I Cerakoted. I did a whole bunch of builds off them, just different color combos and a lot of different buffer tubes, hand guards, uppers, and lowers. Just mixed and matched a whole bunch of builds with those. Oh, this is a 13.9-inch barrel, and this is the M4 E1 from Arrow. Okay, real quick, we'll just pop this one up because this one was in my barrel length video, and this is the re-release of the Colt AR-15 M16 E1. And this is a cool gun, just kind of a throwback, but this is the OG. This is what started it all. This is a 20-inch barrel and obviously fixed buttstock, all the good stuff, and where everything that we're doing today came from. So this is the Colt. And then the last gun out of the low rack is this one. When I was doing all that Cerakoting that I talked about, getting all those parts Cerakoted, I found some lowers that I've never heard of prior or since. And they were called 17 Designs. So this is a 17 design. It's just a little 11-inch AR pistol. I dig this color, the brown and FDE, or Desert Sand and FDE, I think. Let's start up front. This is a Griffin Armament. Can't remember the name of this muzzle device. Modlite OKW 18350 that I have the hot button over on the side because I have another scope switch on this one with a Nightforce NX8. So this is the scope switch for the 30mm tube. That first one I showed you is for the 34mm tube. Trijicon RMR mounted on the top. This has a Noveske branded Geissele charging handle, CMMG drop-in trigger with a Faxon bolt carrier group, another Strike Industries enhanced castle nut and end plate, SB Tactical SBA3 pistol brace. This is the Voltor A5 buffer tube and A5 system. Just a good looking gun, in my opinion. Oh, this is a Voltor rail as well. And fun little gun. Just nice little build. Fun project. So that is the 17 Designs. And just so you see what I'm talking about, 17 Designs. Okay, so since we've seen all these guns on the lower rack, now we're going to move to the guns on the wall that you've seen in all my videos thus far, with the exception of this guy that I put up here after the recent Noveske video. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. But let's get to the wall. And the first gun from the wall is going to be the Agency Benelli M4. This gun has been in a prior video, in my Agency video. So we're going to go through all these guns fairly quickly because most of them have been in a video already. But this is the Benelli M4. Agency takes and agencies it out with the titanium nitride bolt carrier. All the furniture is Agency, and I love it with these little blue titanium screws the Agency does. Look super slick. They port the barrel, and then I put on this Modlite PLH V2 18350 on an Arisaka inline scout mount that I'm just operating with the thumb switch. Then this does have a Trijicon RMR on the ScalarWorks Leap riser mount, and that is a 142 in optic height. And other than that, we just have a really cool shotgun from Agency, the Benelli M4. Next up, we have what I would say is my favorite AK, and this was in my AK video. This is the Meridian Defense Pestilence Rifle. Freaking badass AK. I love how they blended the modern components with the wood furniture. It looks old and rustic and awesome. So all these Meridian Defense Pestilence rifles are built off Romanian parts kits, and this one is from a 1976 Romanian parts kit. That's what the number on the buttstock is designating, and let's go through it. So up front, I've got an Energetic Armament Vox suppressor, Modlite PLH V2 18350 that I'm operating with the mod button. And then I have this Midwest Industries side mount. And the one thing that did change from that AK video is I did replace that Trijicon MRO with this Aimpoint Acro P2 in this gray, which I think looks really slick. So this is the Meridian Defense Pestilence Rifle. This gun was in my Q video, and that is the Honey Badger SD. So this is a 2-stamp gun because it is a short-barreled rifle, and it's an SD, so it has a suppressor. This is the Honey Badger suppressor that they made specifically for this. Although I will say I find it odd that they made a suppressor specifically for this gun and still only left that amount of clearance from the handguard, which The one addition since that Q video is I did put on this cover, because in an attempt to keep this gun as shootable as possible, because it's really, you put 1 or 2 mags through this thing, and in essence you're holding the suppressor because it's so close to this handguard that 1 mag in, mag and a half, and your hand is on fire. You need a glove. So I figure a glove and this suppressor cover or a rail cover, and try to keep that heat down. I might even make it through 2 mags with this gun. I think I also added this Emissary Development handbrake, and we'll see. I haven't had a chance to actually run this thing yet, but I love this gun, and at the same time, it's ridiculous how hot it gets. So the Honey Badger can, this is a Modlite PLH V2 18350. I have ScalarWorks fixed peak iron sights. I have an Aimpoint Comp M5 on a Unity micro mount, and then the Q buttstock. This does have a Q branded Radian Raptor charging handle, Radian Talon ambi safety selectors, a Geissele Super Dynamic Combat flat trigger, and that is all she wrote for the Honey Badger SD. So all the guns up to this point have been in prior videos. Those guns are fun. And then there's this gun, which is just an absolute blast to shoot and has not been in any prior videos. And that is this lever action Henry Big Boy. And this has been decked out with Ranger Point Precision hardware. And it is chambered in 357. So I would like to track one of these down in 4570, get actual man's caliber. But this 357 is a lot of fun to shoot, and you can shoot it very fast, as fast as you can operate that lever, but it is a fun gun. And I'm usually running it with my CGS Mod SK suppressor on here, and then I have ScalarWorks Peak pop-up sights, a Modlite PLH V2 18650 that I'm operating with the Surefire SR07 pressure pad, Aimpoint T2 on a ScalarWorks Leap Mount 1.93 inch optic height, and then the Ranger Point Precision furniture up front and in the buttstock, and then all these little rails. And then this is a Emissary Development mini handbrake. But this thing, just go out and play modern day cowboy with this rifle, and it's an absolute blast. So if you guys don't have a lever action, I suggest you get your hands on a lever action, because it's just something different and such a riot. This is the Henry Big Boy with the Ranger Point Precision furniture. Next one is a little sub gun from one of my favorite rifle companies, and that is Type A Rifles, and this is the G9. So this is a cool little package. It's teeny. It's got this Maxim Defense pistol brace on it. Takes Glock mags. Very fun gun. I don't shoot it a ton, and it looks a lot better when I have a suppressor on here. And that is on a Silencer Co. ASR muzzle device. I have a Surefire Scout Light that I'm just operating with the push tail cap, an Aimpoint H1 red dot. And then this is from Arisaka Defense, this mount, but I can't remember the name. It's probably just like a T2 mount, something like that. Came with the Magpul pop-ups and B5 pistol grip. This is Type A's ambi safety selectors, and just a great little teeny package. And the best part about it for me is that it's just AR-15 controls. It's exactly the same. Everything is AR-15 controls, so same manual of arms to the T, and makes running this thing very easy and very familiar. This is the Type A G9. Next up, we're gonna stick with Type A because this is one of my favorite guns that I own. This is my AR pistol. This is an 11-inch Type A contractor, And the contractor designation means that it is a piston operated gas system. So this thing is just decked out. I love the look of this gun. That multi-shade FDE is just gorgeous. And we'll go through it. So out front, I have a Huxworks QD556 flash hider, this Modlite PLH V2 18350 that I'm operating with the Surefire ST07 tape switch and the Cloud Defensive LCS. And then same thing with these ScalarWorks pop-up peak sights. This is a Haley Strategic Picatinny QD mount, Emissary Development handbrake. I have my favorite setup for running lasers in a red dot, which is this GBRS Hydra. Moves that laser, all the weight of it, the space, back to the center of the gun where you have a much better balance. The laser that I'm running, this is a Wilcox Raid XE, and then an Aimpoint Comp M5. And this is a Type A bolt carrier, finished in titanium nitride. They do their own charging handle at Type A, their own safety selectors. And this one has a bad lever on it from Magpul, which I love. SB Tactical SPA3 pistol brace, and that is on a Law Tactical folding stock. Very cool gun. You can get it nice and small. Oh, B5 pistol grip. This is just such a usable gun. I love 11.5-inch barrels and 11.5, just these short guys that are so easy to wield when you got a can on there. This is the Type A contractor. Next up, we have the B&T USW A1 pistol. And it's still a pistol because I still haven't got the stock. This one should have a folding stock that makes it an SBR, just haven't done that yet. I love the ergonomics of this slide. It has this thumb taper on there, makes it just so easy to rack. And cool little gun. It's one of those things that at the time you could have got it with the Aimpoint Acro P1, which I did, but in some cases you could get it with an Aimpoint Nano, which I unfortunately did not. Light is branded as a B&T light, although it just looks like an Inforce to me. But that is the B&T USW A1. Next up, we have one of my favorite Noveskis, and if you just saw my Noveski video, you saw this. This is the PDW marked Ghetto Blaster. I still call it a Ghetto Blaster, even though it's marked as PDW. For more reference on that, go check out my Noveski video if you don't know what I'm talking about. This is such a cool little gun, 7.94-inch barrel in the Noveski Bazooka Green, which is so Noveski. And then I have this Surefire Scout Light, Magpul pop-ups, and then a BCM CAG hand stop. This is the Q Cherry Bomb muzzle device. We'll run my Trash Panda from Q on this, and this is a 300 blackout. And then moving back, I have an EOTech XPS2, and that is on the Unity Tactical Fast Riser mount. This one happens to be in a limited edition green. Then this is a Noveski branded Geisley supercharging handle. It does have these Magpul Ambi safety selectors that came with the gun. Eventually I'll swap those out. I don't like those. But it does have the Geisley Super Dynamic Combat trigger and the Q pistol brace. So these things are an absolute blast. And if you run subs with this thing through that Trash Panda, it is very quiet. Fun gun, badass. I love it. This is the Noveski Ghetto Blaster. Moving right along, I don't think this one has been in a video. This is just a build I did that is based off a Sons and Liberty collaboration with Forward Controls lower. You can see Forward Controls logo right there, and Sons of Liberty on this side. This is an 11-inch pistol, and let's go through it. So out front, I have a reared-in muzzle device. This works with the Q cans, like the Trash Panda with the Q taper, or it works with any suppressor that you have a Plan B hub on. And then, you guessed it, Modlite PLH V2 18350. that I'm operating with the Unity Axon button. Then I have a Sentry strap, the Sling Keeper, these magnetic sling keepers. Moving on back, this is an EOTech EXPS3, and I have that on a GBRS Lerna mount, which is, they have several of these depending on what optic. You can either have it for EOTech, where it has Picatinny rail, or you can have it for Aimpoint, which just has the corresponding holes. And then I have an EOTech G33 3X magnifier on the Unity flip to center Omni mount. Radian Raptor SD charging handle. This is running the Voltor A5 buffer system, SB Tactical SBA3 pistol brace, B5 pistol grip, Type A bolt carrier group in titanium nitride, and then I did these gold takedown pins from Lantac. This is a cool little gun. I dig it. This is the Sons of Liberty Forward Controls 11-inch pistol. And we're nearing the end, but not quite there. This is the Daniel Defense DDM4 V7 pistol. This is a 10.5-inch barrel on this. I do have this chamber flag in here. I like it. It's just like a aircraft tag. So remove before firing, before pew pew. Out front, I have a dead air chemo brake, and then Modlite PLH V2 18350 with the Surefire SR07 pressure pad. This one also has the magnetic Sentry strap sling keeper, BCM CAG hand stop. This is a Geisley rail, EOTech EXPS3, and G33 3X magnifier on a Unity flip to center mount. And one cool thing is I have these Daniel Defense fixed iron sights that I don't know if this is 100% truth or not, but what I heard, and it's a little different on this one because I'm running a riser on the EOTech, but these were designed for the EOTech. This curve in it is to run right and match up with the curve of this EOTech. So if you're running this directly on the Picatinny rail, these are meant to go in front of your EOTech, so if your optic goes down, you can co-witness with these irons. I don't know if it's true, but it sure looks believable. And this is a Daniel Defense charging handle, SB Tactical SBA3 pistol brace, Daniel Defense pistol grip, and I'm running the Geisley Super Dynamic Combat Trigger. You can tell that I like those. And this is the 10-inch Daniel Defense DDM4 V7. And last, but certainly not least, this one was in my barrel length video. This is the Robinson Armament XCR-L pistol. This is a 7-inch barrel, and because Robinson doesn't recommend that you're running the 7-inch suppressed, it's just all that powder is burning up in your suppressor out of this short of a barrel. I did order the 12.5-inch version of this. I should be seeing that just about any day. So hopefully that shows up soon. And then out in front, this is a KGM muzzle device to run my R556 KGM suppressor. This is, of course, the Modlite PLH V2 18350 that I'm running with the Unity Axon button. And then this is set up very similar to those last few rifles, is EOTech EXPS3. This one has a green reticle and it is on a Unity fast riser mount. EOTech G33 3X magnifier on the Unity flip to center. This gun is cool. It does have this folding pistol brace, so you can get extra small with this. My absolute favorite thing about this gun is their ambi system. So this is 100% ambi. So you have, just like a Magpul bad lever, you have bolt lock right here and bolt release. And a lot of these guns that claim to be ambi have bolt release, ambi, but I'm not concerned about bolt release. I want to lock that bolt back to clear malfunctions without having to reach under or use my left hand. So the ambi system on this is brilliant. It is patented by them and I absolutely love it. So this is the Robinson Armament XCR-L. Okay, so that is the gun wall, all the guns on the wall that you have seen right behind me in every video I've done for the most part. But now that we're doing this video, I feel like I'm gonna have to swap these out and put up some more new interesting firearms. I'll do that over the next little bit. I wanna say thank you to everybody for tuning in and watching these videos. It's been awesome making them. I'm having an absolute blast. So please keep it up. Like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe. It does a huge favor to the channel. And I'm Jeff for the Weapon Collective, reminding you to keep your weapons collected and keep collecting your weapons. I'll catch you next time.